What's going on there, guys? My name is Matt, or Chewy, as most of you will know me as, and welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. We are now mere days away from the release of the simulator, and throughout my time uploading videos so far, I have seen lots of people in the comment sections who are brand new to the world of flight simulation, who seem to be getting a little bit overwhelmed when it comes to watching a lot of these videos because they are not too sure what to do and how in the world they are going to start learning these things. My friends, if you are new to flight simulation, fear not. The vast majority of us have been there. I most definitely have been there. When I first started to learn IFR operations in airliners, I had no idea how anybody could operate these things. And now here we are, and I guess I'm somewhat able to fly them okay-ish sometimes. So what I've decided to do is put together a video for you guys listing my top 5 tips for brand new simmers. Now, some of these may seem like really generic bits of advice, but they're things that I think are really critical to just to be able to get started when Microsoft Flight Simulator releases on the 18th. First thing, the number one most important thing for me is a good joystick system. These can be confusing in their own regards because there are so many different types. You can get yokes, rudder pedals, HOTAS systems, which stands for hands-on throttle and stick. All types of things. I think I may do a separate video on the different types of flight gear that one can possibly get, if you guys would like that. So let me know in the comment section below whether you'd like a video of me explaining all of those different things. But I think the first thing that you need to start off with is a good flight control system. I would highly recommend the brand Thrustmaster. I've worked with Thrustmaster before in the past, and I use a lot of their products myself, and they have a range of different systems for different needs and different price ranges, ranging right from the T-Flight HOTAS X system all the way up to the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog, which is what I use myself on a day-to-day basis. They've also just got a new line coming with Airbus of the TCA package as well. And you get what you pay for with a brand like Thrustmaster, and it will never let you down for what you pay for, basically, is my ethos behind that company. But there are so many others out there, Logitech and Cytec and Honeycomb, and the list goes on. The reason why I think it's so important for you to have the proper flight gear is because it just adds to the level of immersion and will make your life so much easier as a flight simmer. Yes, it is possible to play the new Microsoft Flight Simulator with a keyboard and mouse and an Xbox controller or something. That is most definitely possible. However, you're not going to be making the most out of the simulator, in my opinion, without some sort of a joystick system. Fear not, you don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a joystick to be able to get something that's going to do the job for you. But have a look around. Again, I can make a separate video if enough people would like me to, but I think that's the first thing that you need to do in preparation for release if you haven't already. The second tip that I would give to you guys may sound very generic, but it's literally take it step by step. You do not need to learn everything on day one of release. There's an old saying in the aviation world that a good pilot never stops learning. I stream Flight Simulator 5 days a week and have a wealth of experience in the simulation world, and I still learn at least one new thing every single day that I fly, and I genuinely mean that. And so I think one thing that's going to be really important for new people coming into the simulator is to simply not rush everything and to try and learn every single system of every single aircraft all in one go, because you will overwhelm yourself and you might lose motivation quickly. The number one most important thing about flight simulation is to have fun. Again, I know that may sound like a prerequisite that, I shouldn't need to say those things. But if you're not having fun with your simulation experience, you need to change it up. And that's something that flight simulation can offer. If you're flying general aviation aircraft and it's just a bit too slow for you, you can move it up to the airliners. You don't necessarily have to start with general aviation little propeller aircraft and move your way up to the airliners. You can do it in whatever order you want. Of course, hopefully there's going to be plans for helicopters and things like that to be introduced into the simulator. And so that will also maybe be another option for you guys. But yeah, take it step by step. Don't rush. Have fun and learn how an aircraft handles. That's the biggest tip, I think, out of these whole 5. is to really spend time learning how an aircraft handles. What happens when you keep the joystick level but you add a lot of power in? What happens if you take the power out when you're descending? What does that do to your descent rate? What happens if you add a bit too much rudder input in when making a turn? What happens if you don't trim the aircraft correctly? Trim is something that is so disregarded, I feel like, again, in the flight simulation community by so many. It can be an absolute lifesaver to learn how to trim your aircraft correctly in flight. Step number 3 is to use the features included in Microsoft Flight Simulator to help you out. Microsoft, although they have claimed that they are tailoring this simulator to people who have been in the flight sim community for a while, that does not mean that you people who are new are not going to be able to use it and learn. They have deliberately incorporated a number of different features within to be able to help those of you who are new. Number 1 being the checklist system, which literally points you through every single switch that you need to click to get an aircraft started and get it into the air. It's also got the co-pilot feature where you can ask an invisible co-pilot to do, say, the ATC communications for you, or even to fully control the aircraft if, I guess, you just want to look out the window and admire the view. And so Microsoft Flight Simulator has many of these different things within it to ensure that those of you who are new to aviation have the best possible chance of being introduced in a smooth fashion. So discover those tools in the simulator when you get your hands on it and use them to the best of your advantage. Number 4 is the quote, Rome wasn't built in a day? Is that the quote? I always forget it. But number 4 is that practice makes perfect. Again, I know a step that might sound really, really obvious to you guys. But when I say practice makes perfect, there is only so much YouTube that you can watch to try and learn things. YouTube is a great resource, as is, watching Twitch streams, as is reading manuals, as is reading forum posts. All of that is great and can really enhance your experience as a flight simmer, but nothing will substitute you getting back behind the controls of an aircraft and discovering what it does as you fly it. Nothing will do that. And the more and more you concentrate on flying as much as you possibly can, and if you don't like a certain aircraft, maybe step away from it and come back to it another time whilst you get used to something different, the more used to things you're going to get and the quicker that you're going to be able to progress. And again, it kind of goes back to step number 2 of taking things one day at a time and taking things step by step. Because you don't need to learn how to master every single aircraft type right on day 1 of the simulator. And so it might be best for you to start with a particular type of aircraft that you really want to learn in the base sim, and just sticking with that aircraft and practicing it until you feel really comfortable with that aircraft. And then you can move on to the next one and start to progress your skills through there. The final tip that I'm going to give, tip number 5, is the community. I like to think that the flight simulation community is an incredible one. It's been one that's provided me and so many other people with a full-time job or career. I've been doing this now full-time for 3.5 years, believe it or not. And it's only thanks to the support of the community, the feedback of the community, that I've been able to do this for so long. And so that will come into play for a lot of you guys. Again, there are communities within YouTube channels, within Twitch streams, within Discord servers. The AvSim forums is a great place to sign up. VATSIM for a community, and there's all different kinds of multiplayer networks. And so reach out to other people who may be more experienced than you and say, hey, I'm new to this. I need to learn. Are there any tips that you can give me, or are there any places that you can point me into a certain direction so that I can read up on some things or watch certain videos? And of course, I kind of feel that it's my duty as a content creator to do my little bit to help you guys as well, which is what these types of videos are all about. I feel, again, that the flight simulation community is a really strong one, and I warmly welcome every single one of you who are new to this community into it. I really hope you enjoy your stay and that you fall in love with aviation on a general basis, just as much as all of us have who are already here. I can't wait for you to join. I'm really looking forward to the 18th of August now, where you lovely people can get your hands on this simulator. If you guys have any other tips that you'd like to include for people who are new to the simulation community, feel free to drop them in the comment below. If you like these 5 tips, you can also leave a like onto the video. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with all of the Microsoft Flight Simulator content that I've got here on the channel, you can subscribe. Thank you so much for supporting the channel so far during this preview build, pre-release period. It's meant the absolute world to me to see you guys reacting to the videos in the way that you have. I look forward to seeing you on the 18th of August when the simulator releases. But for now, that's it. Thanks very much for watching.